Thank you for checking out Tea and a Buddy on YouTube. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to the Tea and a Buddy podcast with me, Dominic.
And me, Erica.
And since it's the Christmas month, it's December.
Yes.
We're going to tell you about what to pack.
What does that have to do with Christmas?
What to pack when we go to London at this time of year. Yes! Makes sense, okay? We're going to tell you what to pack to get away from Christmas. Because Christmas is coming, everybody. And it's coming to get you.
No, we are probably going to bombard you with Christmas content this month.
Yeah, so this is like a kickoff of like, kind of.
Sort of Christmassy.
Sort of Christmassy.
But not.
Not very Christmassy. No,
not necessarily, yeah.
Well, I mean.
First of all, I think we should mention that we are coming to you from brand new equipment.
Yes, brand new equipment.
Yeah, this
We've
is
mentioned
the first
this
time.
Before, but
No, we mentioned this on the Patreon.
Oh, was it
Patreon?
I thought
podcast.
we mentioned it on other podcasts
yes,
too,
no, it's
on
our
other episodes.
Only in our secret podcast. No, this is the
secret
first one that we
patron
recorded.
podcast that only our patrons can hear.
Yep. We mentioned it on there. But we have a brand new mic stand.
Brand new mic stand, so there's no whiffling and waffling and
yeah. We don't have to pass the mic between us and
yes, and you know it sounds better, doesn't it? Would you agree? Let us know if you think it sounds better.
yeah, let us know if you hear any difference.
If you hear any difference, we've got a pop filter too, so you'd want.
Yeah, we've got this pop filter. I don't know what that means, but
that means no.
What about if I snap?
Well, snapping, it doesn't really matter, but you know when you're singing, you know, and you're close to the mic, you don't want the S sound.
Well, we don't sing that often in the podcast.
Well, I think it's time we started because it's Christmas. And at Christmas, one must sing. But, you know, there's the P sound, you know, that pop of air. It's what they call a pop filter. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, popping all the time. I mean, you're off to the side, so I'm kind of like in the middle of it. So,
yeah,
but anyway,
it's this big head right in front of the microphone.
My big head.
And I just have to
my big head, y'all.
I just have to kind of hang back here because there's not room for both of us.
Yes. Yes.
But as we mentioned, we do have a Patreon page where we provide secret podcasts for patrons only.
Exclusive content for patrons only.
Yeah.
So if you want to go listen to them.
You get that. We're going to do a Q&A. That's for patrons only.
Yes, Q&A for patrons only.
And we do have Christmas cards going out to patrons only.
Patrons only. If you're a patron, you get a Christmas card from us.
Yes.
Yes.
Very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff.
Very exciting stuff. And we're going to tell you what to expect when you go to Britain in December.
Yes, so
getting back on topic.
Yeah, getting back on topic. That was an effortless transition, by the way.
Yes, it's non-sponsored. Not sponsored by the great state of Britain.
Yeah. Yeah, but we've had people ask us in the past, like, what should I take? I have no idea what should I take. What should I take? Yeah, I mean, we've had some people on Instagram who moving there. Yeah.
Never been there at all. They don't know what to expect. Oh, I've heard it's pretty rainy. Oh, I've heard it's pretty cloudy. Oh, I heard
Does it snow? Does it snow?
Is it cold?
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, we've got like a little list here of things for this kind of, I mean, it's kind of general really.
Well, let's talk about this time of year in particular, because if you've not, because
this time of year it gets a little bit colder than it usually is in Britain.
Yeah.
Because it usually is quite cold, even up into the summertime. And then like there's like a week or so you can get like you can get like a really hot spell, which the temperature goes up to like 70 degrees. And it's very, very hot
for
British
hotter
people.
Than that.
I guess it goes up to like 80 maybe 85. I think actually this year it hit 95. I think that was the top thing, and everybody was just freaking out.
95 is pretty hot. I mean,
it is, but you know, I'm kind of used to it now because we have months of it here.
Yeah,
you know, we have like months, whereas they don't they only have like maybe a couple of weeks, and then it's like back to cooler climate temperatures, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, so this time of year is actually a really good time to go to Britain because the prices are usually a bit cheaper.
A little bit cheaper. There's not many tourists there because it's cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's back home for the holidays.
Right. So if you are planning to go to Britain at this time of year and you have never been before, then that's what this podcast is all about.
Yes, we're going to be telling you everything you need to know.
So let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Okay, what you need are pants.
Pants in the UK sense or the US sense?
Yeah, both. Both. You need jeans or warm pants. Pants is in trousers, is in jeans. You need...
Listen to how American he is, you guys. Calling
American!
Calling pants
America.
Pants instead of underwear pants.
Well, underwear. I call them underwear now. What do you call them?
Underwear, yeah.
Is that all you call them?
Yeah.
No, you have another word for them, don't you?
Underwear?
Panties.
Panties. That's usually talking about women's underwear.
Well, that's a bit sexist, isn't it? Why can't men have panties?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, they can.
Jeans and, / warm pants.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be wearing shorts over there at this time of year.
No.
It's raining.
Okay.
For a start.
I've got terrible news for any Americans or anybody else listening elsewhere who's never been to Britain. It's not going to be snowing, probably, unless you go up into Scotland.
Unless you go up into Scotland, it's probably not going to snow. And if it does snow, if it doesn't get cold enough to snow, it's not going to stick.
Yeah. So you know that movie, The Holiday, where Cameron Diaz goes and stays in Kate Winslet's cottage out in the country somewhere, and
it's in
it's
Surrey,
super snowy and all of that.
It's in Surrey.
Yeah, that was filmed in a Hollywood set somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah. No, I think they did. They built. They built the cottage.
Did. Yeah.
And I don't know if it was
it's
on
really
like a Hollywood set
disappointing
in LA or anything.
It's really disappointing because you think of somewhere like the Cotswolds or somewhere like that, and you really want to think of it as this snowy little like Christmas village,
chocolate box village.
You know, yeah. And it just doesn't really happen.
It's delicious.
Apparently, it does
cute.
in Scotland, and apparently they're having pretty cold temperatures in Scotland. So if you guys are going to the UK and you're going to be staying mostly in Scotland, you probably might see snow.
You'll probably see snow. It'll be very cold.
It's going to be a lot colder than in England or Wales. Yeah.
Especially if you're coming from parts of the US that don't normally have, like Texas, for instance, New Mexico, Arizona.
Yeah.
That don't normally have this type of weather, this cold weather, because I know in Austin you don't.
Yeah.
It's quite unusual to get below maybe 50 or 40, Yeah. It's quite unusual, even in winter.
Yeah.
So when you go there, you're going to be hit by the cold, and of course the wet as well.
Yeah.
Different kind of like climate and everything, it's just going to be colder and wetter.
So the temperature, but if you're from
chilly.
Somewhere like Chicago or maybe upstate New York, Maine, somewhere like that, you may not feel it as cold.
You in Britain. Probably won't. No, you'll just feel it a little bit more wet.
Yeah. So the temperature usually ranges during the winter from like lows in the 30s to highs in the 50s. So anywhere in there is the temperature you're going to get. But you have to add on wind. There's a lot of wind.
There's a lot of wind. It's an island, so yeah, you're going to get wind.
And rain.
There's
a lot of rain in the
very
winter.
Windy, very rainy.
Yeah, so...
It's also very dark, too.
Yes, that is another thing. No, that is another thing, definitely, that you need to expect going there at this time of year, that...
It gets dark at like 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, the sun goes down about 3:30, and by 4 o'clock, it is nighttime.
It's pitch black, yeah.
It's black outside, yeah. So, as Dominic said before, you're going to need pants. You're going to need long pants.
And you're also going to need a couple of sweaters and jumpers.
If you wear dresses or skirts or anything like that, you will notice that all the British women that have dresses or skirts on have tights on. Yeah, nobody's going bare-legged in the winter.
Nobody's going bare-legged unless they're insane.
They probably have boots of some kind on.
Yeah, boots, maybe knee high.
Yeah. At least ankle boots, but it's probably going to be boots.
You know, if they're trying to look cute, and they'll have a warm winter coat on.
Speaking of boots.
Your boots.
If you're going to go to Britain and you're going to go, like, let's say in any sort of nature sightseeing type trip.
In the countryside.
If you're going to be spending any amount of time outdoors, even if you're, in my opinion, having been there now at this time of year a few times, I would say you need wellies. Even in the city, if you're going to be
that is
rain boots. Even if you're in the city, even if you're going to just be sightseeing, like walking up and down sidewalks.
Yeah.
Rain boots or some kind of waterproof shoe.
Yeah. You don't want to be walking around in your high heels.
Yeah. I mean, I wore my first trip there was sort of around this time of year. And I took a pair of like knee-high boots. They were not waterproof. They kept my feet very dry and warm.
Yeah.
But the rain and everything just basically totally ruined the boots by the end of my trip. So they probably weren't the best option as far as like durability.
No.
But I mean, my feet were not wet. They weren't soggy. It was like they were comfortable to walk around in. But yeah, probably rain boots would have been better.
Yes, rain boots would be much better in the UK because it rains. I'm not saying it's always raining.
Well, in the winter it does. It rains a lot.
It rains a little bit. Yeah, it rains a little bit off and on, enough to like just get that wet feeling all the time. You know? You need good shoe wear though, because in Britain, it's like, you can have flat pavement, you can have cobblestones.
Yeah.
And in the country, obviously, you're going to have uneven surfaces to walk on.
Yeah.
But I think...
And you're going to be walking...
A pair of flats, I think, would be good.
Yeah.
For, like, city walking.
Well, yeah.
If you don't want to wear wellies.
Except for the rain.
Except for the rain, yeah.
Yeah.
Blowing in your face.
But yeah, sweaters and jumpers, big heavy coats.
Heavy coats and a nice warm little hat as well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and gloves, obviously.
I love Britain for that, because I love to wear a hat.
But you just like to wear like a stylish hat.
Yeah, I like a hat.
But, because you see a lot of girls walking around in Britain, they're wearing like bobble hats.
Beanies, yeah.
Beanies, little bobbles on, because it's cold for their little ears and their little head needs to be cold, even though they've got all the hair.
And again, the rain might ruin a nice, like, shapely felt hat or something like that. It might...
So they've got the little bobble hat on and, it's very cold and you've got, like, if you're going to wear a hat, a proper hat, like... floppy, wide-brimmed, whatever, you'd probably like to take a brolly.
Yeah.
Which is an umbrella. And everybody wouldn't, I think carrying them around is a bit cumbersome, but...
Well, but it has to be done, really.
Has to be done, really. You've got those, I'm thinking of the big ones that are huge, that go out into, They have a big span.
Yeah.
They can span, you can get, maybe 3 or 4 people underneath them. But you can have these, mini ones that are in, pocket-size ones. You can stick them in your pocket.
Yeah, they retract.
And...
My personal opinion, and I don't own one of these, so I'm just thinking, man, it would be nice, because I noticed a lot of people, and actually I've noticed a lot of people in New York have them too, are the umbrellas that are shaped like a dome, and they come down over you.
Yeah.
Not only are those good to protect, they actually protect more of you from the rain, but they're also not sticking out and poking people as you walk by.
As you walk by, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, especially the clear kind.
Yeah, well, I think it's got to be clear. You're going to be running into...
The clear kind.
You're going to be running into people.
Yes, but, clear kind so you can just see, so it's like a little... But, you don't really... over here, it doesn't rain that much, so...
Well, and people are in cars, so...
People are in cars. Yeah, that's another thing. This is for people who are walking a lot.
Yeah.
Who aren't going to be taking cabs or Ubers
if
or whatever,
if you're going to rent a car, which, that's a whole that's a whole different topic.
That's a whole different topic. Yeah.
If you're going to rent a car, maybe you don't need like the waterproof shoes and the umbrella and stuff like that, because you're just going to go from
car
inside
to place.
a place. Yeah, right. From your wherever you're staying to your car to your wherever you're going.
Yeah.
But I think most people don't rent a car. I mean, there's the tube, of course, but you can't see anything when you're down there.
You're underground for a start.
Yeah.
And it gets so hot. You know, if you got the layers on.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you like to do layers in Britain. You know, you've got the shirt, the vest, and then a shirt on, and then like a jacket, and then a big coat, and you've got the hat on, and, you know, gloves and everything. And it's really cold up there. And then you go down into the tube station, you're with thousands of other people.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, I want to rip all this off now because it's so warm, you know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, and then sometimes they don't have air conditioning down there. I mean, I think some tube trains do. Yeah. But it's like the older trains don't, you know, and you're crammed in with all these people, you are going to melt. Yeah. You know? So when I just remember doing that, and, you know, it just being so hot on the tube, and then getting off and climbing up the escalator, you know, to get out just to breathe again, you know, because it's so warm down there, you know. I mean,
and that's literally just because of the people,
that is just because of the people,
and because you're down underground. Because I mean, it's not like there's any sort of heating system down there, or I don't even think the subways are heated or anything.
No,
I don't think so.
No. Speaking of that, you've got a story about this next thing that we advise people to get.
What's that?
The luggage.
Oh.
Always do the swivel wheels.
Yeah.
If you don't have swivel wheels on your roll thing, you can forget it. It's a nightmare, because you didn't have them the first time you came, did you?
No. They did roll.
They roll, but
just one
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they didn't swivel
just
around, so you couldn't do anything with them. And it was a nightmare getting up escalators. And everything.
I hate swivel wheels on the trolleys in British grocery stores.
I don't know why, because it's just like you can easily parallel park them.
But
but
I love them on luggage. You can
pull it to the side quickly, you know, because in a grocery store over here, you have to pick up the back end to kind of like shift it off from other people who are coming down the aisle, you know.
Off topic.
It's off topic, but it's something that needs to be addressed, I think.
No, and the swivel wheel luggage. I mean, that's really doesn't have anything to do with this time of year. That's just always. You should never go somewhere where you're going to have to be going upstairs or up escalators or loading onto subway trains,
which you're going to have to do in like
regular
an airport
trains
or train, you know, like when you're traveling, you know, like people go, oh, I'm buying this 5-piece set luggage and it doesn't have swivel wheels, and it's just like, where are you going to go, you know?
I mean, that's just smart. That
it's
doesn't
just
really
smart.
have
It's
anything
just
to
smart,
do with anything.
You know, it doesn't really have anything to do with anything, but, you know, as we said,
it is a nightmare getting that on, especially if it's raining and you're having to carry it and it's just bobbling down the cobblestone streets, and you know the wheels are falling off because they're banging against the uneven surfaces.
That's it. They're coming out with luggage now that is just you know, they got like ball bearings and stuff and reinforced steel and stuff, because you know so many people are like, you know, they're rushing to their even in the airport where it's a relatively flat surface, they're getting scuffed up, torn up, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just terrible, because you know you don't want to lose your wheel. You know.
Well, no, yeah, definitely.
The other things that you should probably pack really are like, you know, little like phone chargers and stuff, because everybody's going to have their phone and stuff. Also, phones are another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a general kind of rule, not really for this time of year.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're going to get on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Let's say, get on Wi-Fi.
It's good to have a smartphone with WhatsApp and...
Yeah.
That can get on Wi-Fi, yeah, and you can find directions.
Find directions, yeah, because, I mean, I think they're kind of like offering over here. I think Sprint offers free international texting or something, doesn't it? Now?
I think so, yeah. But getting back onto this time of year in particular, you want to consider, and this is the same traveling anywhere. Again, this is not exactly just traveling to Britain. You want to consider that this time of year you may be shopping a bit because
it's
everything's
Christmas.
got everywhere's got Christmas sales going. Everybody's got Christmas decorations out, and you're feeling like in the spirit. So you're thinking, oh, well, I'm on this trip. I'll probably just go ahead and get my Christmas presents for everybody while I'm here.
Well, I mean, everybody's going to get like a souvenir to bring back, but then people will be like, oh, wait a minute, I can actually do my Christmas shopping here. I can go into Primark and buy cute things.
But you have to consider how you're going to get that stuff home. So,
well, yes.
Yeah.
Do you have it in your do you have room in your suitcase to bring all that back?
I mean, personally,
can you, because they might confiscate it?
Well, yeah, food stuff sometimes.
Remember that banana?
Well, banana.
That poor banana. You never got to eat it.
Personally, I like to bring souvenirs back in my carry-on luggage because I just don't trust checking them, especially if there's anything like breakable, the way the stuff gets thrown around at the airport, onto the planes and off of the planes, and also, you just don't know. There's not a lot of time, obviously, for people to be rifling through luggage. I think that's sort of an irrational fear that someone's gonna that one of the airport employees is gonna steal the stuff that's in your suitcase, because there's not really time.
Well, no, there's no time, really, and I've never really got that fear from people, I've never really got that fear.
Oh, I hear that,
I've never felt that.
No.
I never felt like, oh, they could be getting in my suitcase.
But I do know people like to, they want to lock it up and stuff, and you can't because they have to be able to get into it if there's something suspicious looking or whatever. If you've got
suspicious things in there, yeah.
Yeah. But just to keep that fear from setting in, or like I said, to keep your stuff from being broken or just lost if your suitcase gets lost or whatever, I like to just pack all those like souvenir things.
Yeah.
I like to pack all the souvenir things in the carry-on.
Well, yeah, in the carry-on.
Yeah, just keep it with you. Keep it safe. It's not
Put it up in the top bin.
Yeah. And then you can put a little lock on it if you want to while you're like on the plane in case you go to sleep or something. Somebody might pull it down and whatever.
Although that would have to be some thief to do that. It's just
very bold.
Very bold to try and just nick your stuff while on the plane.
And while you're right there.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really got that fear, really, just like thinking about someone could be rifling. I mean, it just annoys you when you're going through customs and they're like, oh, we need to open this up and have a look and, what's going on here then,
Yeah.
It's just annoying because, you have to explain things. It's like, yeah, this is a block of wood. I don't know how that got in there. That's another story anyway. That's the first time I came over here.
Dominic likes to travel with blocks of wood.
And they went through my suitcase, but, we'll save that for another. I think I've told that story already.
Possibly, yeah.
I've had a story time.
But yeah, so you just need to keep in mind for your itinerary that it gets the sun comes up a bit later in the winter. The sun comes up
a little bit. Oh no, it goes down early and comes up.
It goes down early, but I don't think it comes up any earlier. It's dark for the majority of the time in Britain. And that's really, if you think about it, it's to be expected because you're higher up.
I guess so, yeah.
You're further from the sun. So,
oh, yeah. I suppose, today, for example, the sunrise was 7:46 a.m., which is quite late.
Yeah, it's quite late. I mean, a lot of people have to be to work by 8 o'clock. A lot of people have to be at work at 8 o'clock. So let's say you leave your house at 7:30. The sun hasn't come up yet. It's like, it's a bit weird.
And the temperature over there, it feels like 35 degrees.
Yeah,
Fahrenheit.
Sunset tonight in London, for example, is 3:54 p.m.
3:54, yeah. I mean, that's going to be that. That's just going to get even shorter, yeah.
And everything closes, guys. Everything closes when the sun
everything closes.
When the sun goes down, it's not like stuff doesn't continue to stay open until 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In America, I don't know if
things are open till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, at this time of year, I don't know if British people realize this or if it happens anywhere in Britain, but during the Christmas season, stores in America stay open until 11 o'clock, midnight sometimes.
It's kind of why Black Friday never really took off in the UK, because people like to just do their 9 to 5.
People don't want to work that late.
They don't want to work that late, and they're just going to shut you down,
Yeah.
It's like they don't really care about making as much money as they can, I mean, it's not everyone, obviously, but, there's a few people over there who's going to stay open late or whatever, just to make that extra buck.
But stores in America, they stay open late so that people can go shopping after work or whatever, get their Christmas shopping done. After dinner, if they need to, after they've put the kids to bed, whatever, they can go out and get some shopping done, and the stores are still open. But that is not the case at most places in Britain. Maybe the bigger stores might still stay open till 8 o'clock or so, possibly, but most everything closes.
Yeah, I can't remember what was closing when you were freaking out.
Everything, all the sites close at like sundown.
Well, you can't see anything, that's why.
So this is something that would be surprising to you going to Britain at this time of year for your very first time, because it surprised me.
Yeah, by 4 o'clock, everything's gone. Everyone's gone to sleep. Good night.
In London, even, everybody starts shutting up shop. Any little, booths that are open.
And that's London.
Sites closed. Yeah, and that is London, guys. So that is definitely something to keep in mind if you're traveling to Britain at this time of year.
You have to be up early to get to places and, do your shopping or whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
So you
be up early, carry your umbrella, dress warm. Keep in mind, though, that the stores in Britain do the same thing that the stores in America do, and it's freezing outside, but it's boiling inside.
Yes.
And I don't understand that. I guess stores have central heating.
Well, they
have that
thing,
but...
when you come, it's raining outside, you're walking on the thing, it's like spitting or misting or whatever, and it's really cold.
Yeah.
And you walk into Primark and you get that whoosh from the fan at the door.
Yeah.
Whoosh, and it's like really hot air.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. You're in the hot air syndrome. You're in the hot air zone. Hot air syndrome. Whatever.
Hot air syndrome.
You're in the hot air zone. It's like, but if you've been in the store for hours, you've probably become accustomed to it,
Yeah.
If you work in there, you're not finding it hot. You're going to be like, ooh, it's cold out there,
Yeah.
But, you're just like, you're bundled up. You're just like, you want to take the hat off, the scarf off, whatever, it's just like, oh.
Yes.
Again, it's like the tube, even though there's no air conditioning down there, it's still warm,
So maybe also, we're just thinking of this as we're talking, maybe also bring a bag that you can just a bag that's big enough that you can stuff all that stuff down into if you need to take it off.
A day bag, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people do have that, they have it on the, like a rucksack or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I took I carried a bag that was big enough around to kind of put hat and scarf and gloves into if I needed to, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can also put any kind of little things that you buy throughout the day.
When you're shoplifting and all that. It's handy to have a bag when you're shoplifting because you don't want to, just be carrying the things out of the store.
Yeah.
Full view of the security guards.
And I don't want to make it sound like, oh, it's dark. It gets dark early.
Dark and gloomy, and everything's shut, and no one's around.
It's raining, and everything's wet, and you're going to be soaked, and it's going to be cold. I don't want to...
Can't do this anymore, mate.
I know I'm sort of making it sound like it's not the best time of year to go over there, and maybe it's not the best time of year if you're wanting to see a bunch of stuff, but you can still see a lot.
Yeah,
You just have to get up early and get started very early. And,
which is what you generally do.
Yeah, and just expect the cold and the rain and wind, and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been colder places during the winter. I mean, New York City at this time of year
yes.
is a lot colder than,
it's very cold.
Than Britain. Although, we didn't mention the north of England. If you're
it gets colder in the north,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Like
all the YouTube comments say that. It's colder up north.
Like we said about Scotland, the north of England is going to be the same. Liverpool, York.
And if you go a little bit further north, Newcastle.
Yeah.
Sunderland.
Yeah. All of those kind of places are going to be colder than South and Central England.
Yes, yeah.
And Wales, yeah.
And South Wales too.
I suppose North Wales is probably cold too. I mean, they have a mountain, so
a little mountain, and it's very cold.
Yeah.
Very cold on top of that mountain.
Yeah, so keep in mind that it will be a little bit colder, obviously, the farther north you go. But for the most part, Central and South England and Wales, it's fairly moderate. I mean, it's cold. It's winter time though, so
it's very cold.
You're not really expecting that it's going to be like
tropical
weather. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but there are colder places. Is all I'm saying, and you can get a good deal at going this time of year.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend it, and it's pretty. The lights and everything, which I think we're going to talk more about in another podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the next one.
Yeah. So, I think we've run this topic into the
I think you should be very well prepared now.
If there is anything else that you wanted to know specifically about just traveling to visit Britain this time of year that we didn't cover, feel free to
let us know on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or Instagram.
Or Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're on Twitter, but we, sometimes don't forget to use that because I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Dominic's better about replying on Facebook. I guess I'm probably better about replying on Instagram, and then either of us just do Twitter whenever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find us wherever you want. Yeah. We're everywhere.
Butty.
Yeah. So as always, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for listening, everybody.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Bye. Bye.